Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Wakaboome Network. I'm your host, Annette Gomes. In today's segment, we're sitting down and shining a spotlight on some of our amazing talent that collaborate with the Wakaboome Network and my company, Dream Out Loud Media. Today, we're talking to Sonia Daptardar, the CEO of Inspire, Unite, and Motivate. Hello, Sonia.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on today.
I still get tickled, Sonia, because we talked a couple weeks ago. I saw a couple emails coming back and forth. I thought I was talking to an adult. You cannot even drive. So let's start
No.
there. Where did the entrepreneurship bug come from?
Yeah, so my kind of inspiration for Seeds of Reading goes back to 2019 when I took a trip to India with my family to go see my grandparents who live there. And I was 10 at the time, and there's a lot more poverty in India than here in the United States. And I was just so shocked because there were kids that were my age or even younger who weren't thinking about books or school or anything like that. They were just fighting to stay alive. And just seeing that in front of my eyes so often, because I was there for around 2 months, was just such a transformative experience for me. And I knew that there was something that I wanted to do about that. Fast forward to 2020, I competed in my very first pageant. And when people hear that, pageants are associated with things like toddlers and tiaras. People are like, okay, well, you probably wore a dress, you went on stage, that's wonderful. And that is a stereotype that is still existent. But the pageant that I was in was a scholarship based pageant, meaning that you had to give a personal introduction to practice public speaking. You had to give an interview very similar to this one. And then, yes, you did have to go on stage to kind of build your confidence and show your stage presence. And so there were so many girls there. It was ages 6 to 24. And I saw them doing all of these amazing things. And I thought, wow, I want to be just like that. I want to make that impact in my community and I want to be a change maker. And I think that really kind of propelled me. I already kind of wanted to do something, and that was kind of the catalyst for that. And I was like, yes, I'm going to do something. Then, fast forward when I was in seventh grade, the year after that, Seeds of Reading. Oh, here it is. Seeds of Reading was born, and my parents supported me a lot, and I'm super grateful for that. And yeah, and now Seeds of Reading has been around for around 3 years.
That's amazing. I know your mom had a hand in it, no pun intended. She planted the seed for this organization. So tell us about what Seeds of Reading do.
So, what we do with Seeds of Reading is the very first thing I started out with was making reading videos because something that I noticed was that people did have access to the internet. There's public computers in libraries, there's school issued devices, but people didn't have, their parents didn't have time to read them a story, or they didn't really have access to books because we're just transitioning so much to digital over paper. And so I got a bunch of children's books and I started making these accessible reading videos. I posted them to YouTube and then I posted them to my Instagram, which is at seeds_of_reading. And those quickly gained traction. Like those reached 60,000 views. And I was like, wow, like I know that this is something that people want. And so I started expanding on that and I started a global ambassador program. So what I did was that I recruited people around the world basically to make those videos with me just to put more accessible reading content out there. And then we expanded that to over 10 US states and I think like 2 countries, which was super exciting for me. I'm so happy about that. And that's kind of our main mission.
Amazing, Sonia, because I think some of us were still trying to find our way at your age. Talk to me a little bit about this because I asked you where that drive came from. Your generation is a little different than mine. You said COVID kind of impacted the way your generation thinks. So explain that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, when COVID hit, a lot of us were stuck inside, obviously, and we were very young. Like, I was in sixth grade, and a lot of people in my high school were kind of around that age. So they were like sixth to eighth graders around that time. And so some people obviously liked writing, some people like drawing, things like that. We picked up on all of these like very peculiar hobbies as well. Like, I know someone I know started bread making, and they were just like, they didn't know that was something they liked doing. And so a question that we really started to ask ourselves was, well, I like writing. what if I write a book? Why can't I write a book? And it just kind of went from there. Well, I like drawing and I'm a kid, but why can't I sell my paintings? And when we started asking ourselves that question, why can't we do this? I think that really was a game changer for us. And then when COVID died down and we went back to school, I think that kind of train of thinking was still in us. Like, why can't I, take this thinking forward and just kind of continue to incorporate it? And I think that's a question that I ask myself too. Well, yeah, I know I'm in like sixth or seventh grade, but why can't I do something about this? Why do I have to wait? And I think that that was just really a transformative experience for all of us.
So you posed the question, but you also answered it yourself.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest takeaway for you has been, Sonia, since starting this program? What's the biggest takeaway?
I think a lot of people my age or even younger than me, because I'm a sophomore now, so I'm referring to like middle and high schoolers, they have this belief that, I can volunteer and I can go out there and I can do community service and I can put it down on my application for whatever it is, college or any program, but it's not really going to do anything. I'm just kind of there. And I think that this belief has kind of existed for a long time is that I'm just going to, get it over with because I'm not going to have an impact. And I think that that's wrong because community service or things like that are making an impact. There's no age limit to that. There's no stamp that says you have to be 18, you have to be 21, or whatever it is. And that's why I started Inspire, Unite, Motivate. Actually, I interview people, young people who are making a difference to kind of inspire people to make an impact and unite those people who are already making an impact and then just motivate everyone of all ages to get out there and serve. And I think that that's something that I've taken away from my work with Seeds of Reading is that you're never too young to make a difference.
Make a difference in your community. And you think globally, Sonia, because you talked about a program that's Canada, right? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Restoring Rainbows is a US based organization, but they have like 100 branches worldwide. And one of them is in Milton, Canada. And so, Seeds of Reading partnered with the Milton branch of that to host a fundraiser and a drive collectively. So, for people who don't have like books or notebooks, which is what they're collecting, and then we're sticking to children's books, can donate money. And then, if you have any like gently used children's books or you have any notebooks for people in Canada, you can donate those. And I'm really excited about that because I know that we're able to make an impact, not just here in the United States or in Cary, North Carolina, which is where I live, but we can make an impact, in other states, other countries, other cities, and things like that.
Ripple effect for years to come, Sonia. And tell me this. I saw that you have a recent achievement under your belt. Let's talk about that for a minute, ma'am.
Yes. So one thing that I'm super interested in is psychology, and I'm also interested in business. So I want to double major in those to eventually go into corporate law. And the reason that I'm so drawn to psychology is because I really like empathizing with others. I like seeing things from their perspective just to better connect with them. And psychology is all about understanding the way people think. And so I wanted to do more in depth research on psychology and different things that are impacting businesses, different factors. And so I applied for the New York Academy of Sciences virtual program, which is for people aged 13 to 17. And so I was super excited when I got accepted to that last month. And the most recent thing I'm doing with that is I joined a team for ethical considerations in AI, which is kind of exploring like the impact of AI on businesses. So that's kind of what's going on over there.
So much. I don't even know how when you have time to do all this, Sonia, but what does Sonia's life look like in the next 5 years?
The very first thing is seeds of reading. I'm super passionate about it. And something that we've done is we did start off very virtually, obviously, because it was in the COVID era. And also, like working with people who do live in like 10 states, it's very difficult to get them all in one place. But something that I have as a goal in 2025 and beyond that, the next years after that, is to kind of do more in-person things, which is why I'm so excited to collaborate with the Wakaboome program and your company and you as an individual because I know that that's something you're also super passionate about. And then other than that, like I mentioned, I want to double major in psychology and business, and I hope to do that at UNC Chapel Hill because it's very close to where I live and it's such an amazing campus and school with so many great opportunities. So that's where I hope to go.
You so much success. Sonia, but before you go, how can we help you? How can we connect to your Instagram so we can learn more about your program?
So our socials are at seeds_of_breeding, and that is on Instagram. And then we also have a LinkedIn. So if you just search up Seeds of Breeding LinkedIn, you should find that. And then we have a YouTube channel where we post all these videos that I was talking about earlier. So that's just if you search up Seeds of Breeding on YouTube. I would really appreciate it if you gave us a follow over there or subscribe to that channel. And then as for support, like I mentioned, we are hosting a drive for children's books, and I do hope to host a lot of drives like that. So just kind of keep an eye out, and if you're able to contribute to that, we would really appreciate it.
Beautiful. We are going to work together, Sonia, in the very, very near future. I wish you so much success, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for sitting down and taking the time to talk. We will talk soon.
Talk soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Sonia. And that's going to do it for the Wakaboome Network.